Like she said, my name is Min. I'm part of the solution engineering team at Circle. And today I'm just going to be going over dev tooling on Avalanche and how you can build on top of Circle's platform. So before I get into some of the nitty-gritty details on USDC and Circle, I'd like to first give like an intro of Circle as well. We're founded in 2013, and we're a global company with over a decade of experience building on chain. So we have a lot of experience just building on chain, the developer experience, and I like to sort of pillar our offerings in three pillars. One stablecoins, one is platforms, and the last one is protocols. So the first one, stablecoins, we're the issuers of USDC and EURC, like some of you may know. Second one's platforms. We give developers just a development platform to build on top of USDC. We've also built utilization on top of USDC, so you can use it across many different use cases. And then finally is protocols. As some of you may know, we have stuff like CCTP, we have Bridge USDC standards, so it's easier for the entire ecosystem to get access to USDC. So as sole issuers and redeemers of USDC, USDC is held to a higher standard, right? So it's always redeemable one-to-one, and it's always backed 100% by cash and cash equivalent assets. The funds are also kept in a leading global bank, and we're also very transparent with every user using USDC. So we have a monthly report for every month. We have a report that's audited by a Big Four company, and we actually broadcast that out into the web. And every user can take a look at these audited reports, see that every single dollar or every single USDC is backed one-to-one in our reserves. Finally, we're regulated, right? So with licenses in place globally, we're able to issue with the variety of licenses that we have. So now that I've sort of given an overview of Circle and USDC, some main use cases that you can facilitate regarding USDC is just USD access, right? It's very difficult to get the US dollar in other countries outside the US because you need like a traditional bank account. Whereas with USDC, you can now access the dollar with USDC. So that's one of the biggest use cases that we've seen. Another is cross-border payments, right? So if whenever you're traveling, it's very difficult to spend like local currency, and we actually enable cross-border payments with USDC, and it's near instant and low cost. So for example, on Avalanche, the transactions finalize within less than a couple seconds, right? And it's super low cost, whereas when you think of like a wire transfer, some of them cost $35, $25, and for USDC on Avalanche, it's less than a cent, right? And finally, crypto markets. USDC allows you it is a gateway, right, to all of these different crypto markets like DeFi protocols, NFT marketplaces, etc. So now that I've given an overview of USDC, Circle, I'm going to go over a little bit of how USDC actually works, right? Because that's the most important part. So what goes on in the background, right? So to break it up into like bite-sized pieces, there are 4 initial steps for getting USDC on chain. So the first one is making the initial transfer. And we make that really easy because we have tools that allow you to get instructions on how to actually send that fiat transfer first, right? So first you need to come with fiat. Once you make that transfer, we would actually move them to our reserve addresses, right? So our reserve bank accounts. And then once we confirm that it's in our reserve bank accounts, we would actually mint that USDC on chain and put it into our reserve accounts because we follow like an omnibus blockchain infrastructure. Finally, once it's minted on chain, we actually credit the corresponding user that sent that initial wire. And once it's on chain, right, compared to that legacy fiat rail like a wire, It's a much more efficient way of moving a value across chain. So to dive a little bit deeper on how USDC works, I thought I'd give an overview of what the primitives are in the USDC token contracts. So there are 6 basic functionalities. Within native USDC, although there are like token standards like ERC, SPL, we actually add additional functionality on top so that it fits our requirement and our standard for our token contracts. So the first one is allow list and block list. That essentially allows which addresses can interact with the smart contract. The next one is since smart contracts don't have their own private keys, right? This is essentially that approve button that you click whenever you're trying to interact with the DeFi protocol. And it's allowing you access to interact with the USDC smart contract to actually make the movement of funds. Next are minter configurations. These are things that we initially set up for a token, but also, for other chains out there, you can actually deploy Bridge USDC standard, and it has those same minter configurations that you can make once you deploy the token. Next, these kind of go hand in hand as a multi-sig transaction. So if you want a more secure way of managing your treasury and making transfers on-chain, you can utilize that multi-sig transaction functionality within the smart contract. Finally, so the USDC token contracts, they follow the Open Zeppelin proxy pattern. I'm not sure if some of you may know that, but what that allows you to do is upgrade the token at a later point in time. So if you want to add functionality on top of the token, you can actually point the proxy contract to a new implementation contract, so that if we wanted to add function on top of it, we can. So basically what you would do is pause all transactions on chain, settle all the in-flight transactions on chain as well, and then perform the upgrade on the actual token. So with the details of this token smart contracts, I'd like to go into a little bit about extending the USDC smart contract to developers, to platforms, etc. So we've tailored the development experience to both types of developers, right? So we have blockchain native developers. We also have Web 2 developers that aren't too familiar with the blockchain technology, right? So you can either do a direct integration through the smart contract itself. That's by utilizing the ABI functions on chain, or you can build an experience with an out-of-the-box solution like our programmable wallet stack. And that's all included with Avalanche, and that just includes like REST APIs, SDKs, just general tools that Web 2 developers are really familiar with. So I mentioned briefly of programmable wallets, but I'd like to dive deeply into this a little bit more. So what are exactly programmable wallets, right? So they're the easiest way to bring wallets to your app. So enabling developers to bring blockchain to their users simply through REST APIs and SDKs that developers are all familiar with. So what are some of the characteristics of programmable wallets? So you can cut down the market and the time to market and reduce the friction to develop on-chain. And we eliminate the complexities like designing, tool configurations, developing on-chain interactions, smart contract interactions, etc. So we give you access to multiple wallet constructs. I'll go a little bit deeper into what that actually means. And you can essentially choose a wallet construct to best fit your app requirements. So we give you that all out-of-the-box solution where you can develop on-chain like transactions, smart contract interactions, and within it, we give you an all-in-one monitoring and debugging toolbox so you can start developing wallets and deploying wallets. So also another characteristic is user experience, right? So in Web3, user experience is a huge issue, and we're all trying to solve for it right now. And what does programmable wallets have to offer in terms of UX, right? So you can add intuitive user experience without compromising security because we've built programmable wallets on top of multi-party computation technology. So if you don't know what MPC is, it's essentially like multi-sig, except you have more flexible ways of configuring like wallet interactions and stuff like that. So we also give you out-of-the-box solutions for a gas station, which is what we call it, but essentially it's sponsoring gas for your users. So if you're, targeting users that are more Web 2 focused, that don't know really Web 3 technology, don't know the concept of gas, then you can deploy a policy to sponsor gas on top of your on behalf of your users. So as I said, wallet constructs is like so the way we like to see it is we have two sets of wallet constructs. There's the developer-controlled wallets and the user-controlled wallets. They're pretty intuitive when you see the name. So if you're looking for like a super slick UX and you want to control every aspect of the user experience, you can use a developer-controlled wallets to manage the wallets on behalf of your users. So for users that are not familiar with Web3 technology, you can just you can just deploy a wallet on behalf of them. You can also abstract away the blockchain technology and just use a wallet that the user is not even aware of using. So you can sponsor the gas and just abstract away the blockchain complexities from the user. For a user-controlled wallet, you can tailor the wallet experience to folks that are very Web3 native and they like the control of their wallets, they like the control of their private keys, and that's for the user-controlled wallets where they have sole control over the funds within their wallet. So you can tailor any type of experience you want with these two wallet constructs that we offer. Cool. So finally, within programmable wallets, I like to go through the compliance engine. It's a very new tool that we've added on top of the Web3 services stack. And compliance engine basically allows you to monitor transactions on-chain to reduce exposure to risk. And what I mean by that is the three sort of features that you have within the compliance engine is transaction screening, transaction monitoring, and travel rule. So transaction screening is already within production, and you can actually play around with it directly in our dev console, which I'll show you in a bit. And what transaction screening allows you to do is it detects any risky transactions, and you can configure rule sets to automate what you want to do with risky transactions. So let's say I have a specific address that I do not want to interact with. I can add that to a block list. It'll automate that flow and just not take any transaction from it. Transaction monitoring, this basically you can add an address into the transaction monitoring feature and it'll give you a historical analysis on the transactions inside the programmable wallets infrastructure. So it'll detect like patterns, like high risk behavior, and you can just have a holistic view on how to manage the transactions within the programmable wallets. And then finally, in order to satisfy the crypto travel rule obligations, you can utilize a travel rule and you can just check against like jurisdictional requirements that for wherever you're operating within. Cool. So the final sort of protocol I want to touch on that I mentioned earlier is CCTP, Cross-Chain Transfer Protocol. So basically, this is an open source protocol that Circle has developed, and all of the code is all open source. It's in a GitHub repo. If any of you are interested, I can definitely send it to you guys. But what this enables is it's like a breakthrough in stablecoin infrastructure, right? Because it enhances the interoperability of USDC, and it basically natively makes USDC multi-chain. And so what I mean by that is it follows a burn and mint type of pattern, where first you burn native USDC on the source chain, and then essentially bridge it and mint new USDC on the destination chain. So it's sort of like a bridge, like a traditional bridge, where you lock up the current assets on the source chain, and then you mint a wrapped version of that same asset on the destination chain, except CCTP, we actually burn and mint. So an example, like in this diagram here, is you can burn USDC on Ethereum and bring it directly and mint new USDC on Avalanche. Cool. So with that being said, I'd like to show you guys the developer console. Awesome. So this is the developer console, and this is the vision that we had for the developer console is making that all-in-one inclusive developer experience where you don't have to hop around to different tools to get all the tools that you need. So within the home screen, you can see that there's different guides out here, so the different products and services that we offer, and you can read up on them if you click on any of the links. But also we give you access to like join our community, and our Discord is a great way for developers to get inside and ask the questions they need when they're developing on top of Circle's platform. Moving on, we have the ability to just generate your own API key, and if you have multiple developers, you can add multiple keys in here and start testing within the same account. API logs, this is a really cool tool. You don't have to go into a different service to check on the logs. As you can see sort of like an analysis of what type of API requests you're making, what your partner developers are making. And if you have any issues with the actual request, you can actually see the request body as well as a response. So if you have any questions, you can directly reach out on our Discord or go through the developer docs that is directly within this platform. Webhooks are another cool feature. So we allow you to subscribe to webhook notifications where, whenever you're making a request, we send you a response back saying, hey, it's confirmed, denied, whatever, and you can build an automated experience around webhooks, or you can pull if you want. Webhook logs, same thing. One of the main features that I really like about the developer console is the faucet, right? So a lot of you are probably aware of trying to get testnet tokens. It's really painful. You go to these really sketchy websites. You do like a Twitter post saying, hey, I got some tokens on this website or whatever. But this faucet, you can actually put in your wallet ID, and you can get testnet USDC directly through the website without having to jump through hoops. So this is a really cool tool that I really like, and it's supported on all the chains that Programmable Wallets is native on, so Avalanche. Helpful links, these are just docs that you've seen on the home screen, but an easier way to learn. We have jumpstart guides, which are no code sort of guides that you can click through to see how our programmable wallets work. So it'll walk you through what are the configurations that you need to make, also what type of code you need to input in order to make a transaction, etc. Awesome. So programmable wallets overview. So this is where you can see all the different key features, utilizing the quick start guides in order to create your first user-controlled wallet or your first developer-controlled wallet. And you can see all the key features here and solutions. It's a really cool overview. And then right below it, you can see user-controlled and developer-controlled. So within this platform, you can see all of the different users that you've created and configured. And this is really cool because you can see the auth method, the user ID. So if you don't want to make API requests to debug certain users, you can use this platform directly. Transactions as well. It'll show you all the different transfers that you made, whether they're smart contract interactions, whether they're transfers on-chain. You can see all that here. And same thing with developer-controlled wallets. One feature I didn't really touch on was the smart contract platform that we have within the developer console. So you can either import an existing contract that you've already deployed, or you can deploy a smart contract directly on the platform. And I have a couple of contracts on here. These are just to mint dumb NFTs, but we also have templates that you can use. So if you're trying to mint an NFT or you're trying to do an airdrop, you can see all of these templates that you can use so that you don't have to develop from scratch. Gas Station is also a cool tool where you can configure policies to sponsor gas on behalf of your users. So if you're looking to target some of the Web2 native folks, then you can utilize the Gas Station. And then Compliance Engine, like I touched on a little bit earlier, you can see all the key features within the dev console, read up on the docs, how it works. You'll see alerts, address search. You can actually see all the transactions you've made. And then finally, you can actually either use an API or the UI itself to add block lists or allow list to make sure that you're not interacting with some bad actors. Yeah, that's all I really had. Let me see. Just go here. So a really cool opportunity for you to just follow our Twitter on build.circle or join our Discord to ask any questions as you're building on top. This doesn't have to be, it can be any question that you want. We have dedicated support on Discord, so whenever you ask questions, you'll get a pretty fast response. But yeah, that's all I really have. Thanks for listening. I can take any questions.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for your time. So it looks like you guys are on 5 to 8 chains right now, right? Is it 5 or 8?
So USDC is native on 16 chains,
Oh, 16.
But programmable wallets is native on 6 chains.
Okay, so around the programmable wallets. So as you may know, like Avalanche is a network of interoperable yet independent blockchains, right? Subnets, L1s. A lot of us attending some are building L1s and deploying them. Will the smart wallets be accessible from our L1s? Do we need to work with you guys to enable that functionality? Like, how does that going to work?
Yeah, so we're actually trying to enable that right now with the product team. It's in the roadmap to be able to enable L1s, but as it currently stands, only on Avalanche C-Chain.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
Actually, a workaround to that might include just using ICTT to set up contracts to interact with the C-Chain.
Sounds good.
Yep. Any other questions? Sure.
Does building on Circle require any sort of KYC?
No, so the developer console actually is just, I can send the link as well, but it's pretty accessible, and you can just sign up and start testing all the different features that we have. So it doesn't require any KYC.
Awesome. Anybody else? Okay, thank you, man.
Thank you, everyone.